Hello YouTube, it's been a while. Reason it's been a while is we're moving. So that means there's going to be a lull in videos for a while. But the place we're moving to is going to be very conducive to be producing a lot of videos. We're moving from an 1/8 acre in a subdivision, pretty nice subdivision, out to the country. We're going to have 10 acres. There's actually 3 barns on the property. The house is bigger. The house has been remodeled top to bottom, so there won't be very many home projects. The barn that I wanted to use as a shop garage really can't be saved, unfortunately. It's so far gone that the cost to fix the barn equals or exceeds the cost to build a new one. So we're going to be building a new barn and shop. So there'll be videos on that. It's going to have concrete floor, heat, R19 insulation in the walls, R32 insulation in the ceiling. It'll be a pole barn, steel sheet, both inside and out. Half of it's going to be sectioned halfway down the center. Half of it will be a shop. The other half it'll be a garage. We should be able to back the truck and the trailer into that side and unload the dragster. Barn will be about 45 feet wide, 90 feet long. So it's a good sized barn, good sized shop. It'll save me from running up and down the stairs into the garage here, which is getting to be a little difficult with the knees. So we're excited, we're looking forward to it. Now on the dragster, we broke it. Well, we didn't really break it. Somehow, this piece of metal got into the cylinder. Now, we were extremely lucky. I made my final run in a test and tune, went around the corner, shut it off, loaded it up in the trailer. We came home, we looked at the data logger. It looked like we were having a misfire on 2 different cylinders. We talked to Randy out at RPM Performance, and he suggested that maybe one of the magnets was weak on the degree wheel for the pickup, and suggested that we check to see if the magnets were strong. So the way you do that is you take a screwdriver and you put it near the magnet and see how much force it's got. So we checked one and we checked the next, and my wife was pulling the motor over and it came to a dead stop. I said, oh, come on, pull it over. And she couldn't pull it over, so I got it up and it was locked right up. So turned it the other way. It turned fine all the way over, almost 360 degrees, and locked right up again. So I'll post a couple pictures. But somehow this piece of metal got into the cylinder. Now I run 2 screens on top of the intake of the blower, so it couldn't have ingested it. The blower itself is fine on the inside, turns over fine. We kind of suspect that when the intake manifold was modified to put the burst panel on the front, they had to drill some holes to get the plenum of the intake to the outside. We don't run any water, so it goes right through the water jacket to the burst panel. And we're thinking that after 7 runs, the waste piece that came out of the hole came out of the water jacket tunnel that's in the intake and got ingested into the motor. And that it happened in such a way that it happened after the motor was shut off and only got wedged when we were turning the motor over by hand. You look at the top of the piston, and I'll post a picture. You can't see any damage. You look at the head, there's no damage. The end of the spark plug there was nothing wrong with the spark plug. We literally had to take the whole motor apart. It's sitting right here. The whole motor apart to find this piece in the cylinder. It's so shiny that it looked like part of the cylinder head when I used the borescope to go in, so I didn't see it until we took the head off. The valves are slightly bent. We poured gasoline into the exhaust in the intake port and the valves did leak. They don't leak in any of the other valves, just the cylinder that this piece was in. Let me think a second. We took the cap off the end of the rod and measured the cross section of the bearing. It's not spread, so the bearing is in good shape. We just put it back in and retorqued it. So we're down to, the head is out being machined right now. The valve lapped, and we'll replace the two valves, and we're going to put it back together. We're hoping to get a couple more test and tune runs in here. We won't make the 4th NDRL Series race up in Michigan, but we are hoping to make the last race in Bowling Green and to run some 7.0 passes. So that's where we're at right now. I do have a small project that I will be posting about. We have an 18 volt battery, well it's an 16 volt battery to spin the motor over fast enough for the mag to fire. And the consequence of that is that all the filament bulbs burn too brightly. And we thought about using a resistor to drop the voltage, but the resistance would depend upon the load that's on the system. I found a step-down voltage converter that takes anything from 16 volts to 48 volts and drops it to 12 volts, and that'll be perfect for what we want to do here. So I have currently a small trailer breakaway battery supplying 12 volts. We're going to take that out and we'll put this converter in to run anything that's 12 volts. That's the LED light and the tail light and the lights in the dash, the shift light and the low oil pressure light. I think that's the only thing that's 12 volts, and that's the only thing that's going to run, and that will be powered off of the master switch. So when you turn the master switch off, it turns power off to the converter, which will turn power off in the whole dragster, which is what NHRA wants. But that's what's been going on. So the move is scheduled for, well, the closes are on this house and that house are scheduled for October 1st. We have rented this house back for 10 days. So we'll have both places for an overlap of 10 days. We have some movers that are going to come in and move everything, which is phenomenal. There's a lot of stuff to move. We are packing a lot of this stuff, but they're going to move it all, which really makes it easy. And after we move, there'll be projects galore. We got that new barn going up. We've got one of the barns was a wood barn that burned down, so they put up a brand new steel barn on the foundation for the wood barn, but it still has the troughs in it for cows. So we got to fix that. That's a project. The red barn needs a little work. It's tall enough where we can get the motor home in. It's in very good shape. The white barn, which is directly in back of the house, is in pretty bad shape. I really hope that we'd be able to fix it because it's right out the door. But it looks like we're going to be tearing that down, so that'll be an interesting project. And we're going to build a new barn that's essentially in line with the brown barn, but now it's going to be 50 feet to the side of the house so that we'll have a view out the back of the house. All right, that's it for now. Have a good day.
Oh, shoot. Oh.